Hey everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of words, recorder of videos, and online role-playing aficionado. Welcome to a mini special episode of my Roll20 review video series where we're actually going to be taking a look at the newly released Charactermancer as well as the D&D 5th edition Player's Handbook, both of which have just been released this week. Now, we're not doing a standard big adventure review with this video, so I'm not doing my big, intro spiel, and you're staring at Tomb of Annihilation right now because that's just the one I happen to open. It's the campaign I'm prepping right now for our next big adventure on my YouTube channel. But I wanted to take a look at this feature because it's really cool, and it should help a lot in character creation for Roll20, and I can kind of show you what the Player's Handbook can bring to you, even though the Charactermancer itself is actually free. I believe, I should have looked this up. I don't remember if it's free for just pro subscribers or free for everyone. I hope it's for everyone. It might be that the different subscribers level get more things, but the Charactermancer itself is just a nifty tool within Roll20. Purchasing the Player's Handbook lets you use more assets and features from the Player's Handbook, as well as get all the bits of lore and the items you can drag on the character sheet, and I'll show you all that in a moment. But it's pretty cool. Maybe not quite as nifty as actually purchasing a full campaign if you're a DM, but it is a nice thing to have if you are adventuring a lot in Roll20. So, if you want to use the Charactermancer, it's mainly explicitly used for new characters. It is a character creator tool for Roll20. So let's just go add character, and this is going to be Mozark. This is going to be the half-orc bard, which is, fun fact, the one of the characters I was thinking about playing for our Storm King's Thunder campaign, which we are currently heading into the final stages of. Instead, I went with my Paladin Warlock Kazan, but let's make this character. So, welcome to the Charactermancer. This is the new, just really nice step-by-step tool, very much that D&D Beyond, which is kind of almost a competitor now, even though Beyond is obviously the official digital tool for Wizards of the Coast. But it's a way to, step-by-step make a character, literally by like the pages of the Player's Handbook in a digital space. So it's a lot easier and just kind of well-organized, because if you're playing in Roll20, you're most likely using the Roll20 character sheets because they have all the hyperlinks and let you do everything just super easy like that. So let's go. Next, first thing we're going to do is choose our race. And you can see with the Player's Handbook, which I have added to my account, I get all of this information as well as you get all the pictures, which is nice. Not necessary, but nice. And you literally just get every single piece of information that comes from the Player's Handbook. Literally like copy and pasted from the Player's Handbook. So if you don't have a copy, which if you're playing D&D, you probably have a copy of the freaking Player's Handbook, but it is nice to have that information on here just because. So we are going to go with a half-orc. And again, if you don't have the Player's Handbook, you will still be able to make almost everything that you need. You use what's called the standard rules documentation, which is how Wizards licenses out D&D 5th edition for, like, say the DM's Guild and everything. They can use all that kind of shared information. And most of it is available. You'll miss out on a lot of like all the background information. What do they call it? It's the background, the feats, the ideals, all those kind of things. And then there's a number of just random kind of spells and things, like maybe the class archetypes, things that just aren't in the SRD for whatever reason. So this one is the Player Handbook version. So what you see on my screen is if you pay the 20 or 30, depending on what price it is right now, for the Player's Handbook, and then that automatically plugs into your account, and then from then on, whenever you make a character, you've got all the information available. So, as you can see, giving me the half-orc, it automatically gives me the +2 to strength, +1 to con, and I can start filling out things from there. Mozark is probably chaotic neutral. The concept of this character is like a hard rock, violent metal rock star. I was inspired by Brutal Legend, which is a fantastic video game that's got a really fun kind of hard rock character in that one, who's very fantasy-esque in how they operate. So, and again, half-orc, you've got all the information, you've got the pictures, everything you could possibly want, the names, recommended alignments, all that good stuff. So let's go to next. We do our class, same thing here, lots of pictures, information. I believe I wanted to start as a bard, and then eventually I would multi-class into barbarian, which I can show you how that works as well. So proficiencies, and I think half-orc automatically gives us intimidation, so we obviously want performance for our hard rock bard. And then probably go with a bunch of physical ones, acrobatics and athletics. I'm picturing like literally just kind of jump on the stage and doing the guitar. Tools, all the cool drums. Lute for sure, closest thing we have to a guitar, and I don't know what half these are. Let's just do horn. Next from there, ability scores. This is where it gets interesting because in the SRD you don't have any options. You basically just have to manually pick your skills, so you'd have to, agree with your DM and roll or do point buy or whatever. And it sucks that that's not in that's the only option in the SRD. In the Player's Handbook, you do have all the ones available in the Player's Handbook, which is the standard array, which is literally you select 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Those are your 6 numbers, and you just divide those up. Boom. And you can do that the way we did it, at least in previous campaigns, is you first did the roll, and then if you didn't like your rolls, you could then do the standard array. So everybody was basically average to above average. Slightly imbalancing, but it's the way it worked for our campaign, and that characters are generally kind of super heroic. And also, it does feel kind of shitty if you just roll badly. Then you're like, that's a big fucking deal to make a character that's just underdeveloped, and maybe you can make it work, but I don't know. But that's the roll for stats. You can see it's the automatically the roll 4d6 drop lowest, which gives you a better array of numbers anyway. And then the point buy, which I really like, which is you kind of strategically, you have 27 points, and each one costs a certain amount. So it costs more points to give yourself a 15 than it does an 8, for example. There's a little bit of tricksy math in there, but this one automatically does the math for you. And that lets you specifically change your numbers around, and maybe you want to be way more lopsided than not. So it's nice that you have all these options. Let's just do the roll for stats for now. And okay, we got what looks like pretty average numbers. 7, 11, 12, 13, 16, and a 17. Wow, I could have a 19 score if I put that 17 into my strength, which is pretty crazy. Instead, we're gonna put the 16 into. Well, we want a good charisma though too. We're gonna put that. Oh, I don't like these numbers. My Bard Barbarian needs at least more numbers. Alright, well the 7 is going into Wisdom, that's for sure. The next lowest one is Intelligence. Then he really needs like 4 good numbers. I did not get 4 good numbers. I got 1 good number and a bunch of crap. So, let's say Charisma is a 16. Strength is going to be let's do Con as a 13, which puts it at 14. That's pretty solid. 17 Strength, and then 12 Dex. How about that? There we go. So let's do next. Background. And here is where you're really screwed if you don't have the Player's Handbook, because for whatever reason, only the Acolyte is available in the SRD. I don't know why, but you get really screwed out of doing your background. Let's say Entertainer, which comes with Acrobatics and Performance already. Didn't I already just choose those skills? I think I might have chosen those already. Did I not? No, I did Race, Class. Okay. So never mind. Let's scoot back to background. Okay, so that automatically gives us Acrobatics and Performance. Now let's do... Wait, I did choose skills, did I not? Wasn't that part of the class? Yeah, Performance and Acrobatics. So I need to choose different ones then. That's... yeah. So let's choose like... oh man. Survival and Sleight of Hand. Right? Because I think then I won't double up. Acrobatics and Performance. Okay, so that gives us a lot of skill proficiencies. And then the tool, the Disguise Kit, and I get one more, I guess, another. I don't even know what a viol is. Let's do viol. Alright, and here we have our traits, ideals, bonds. We can just roll for those if we want. You are a singer, probably. Yeah! And then we can literally just go in through and roll all these if we want to. Because there's a what is it, a D like 8, D6 for each of these tables in the player's handbook. So it's nice that actually is just a button you can press to roll it, and it will find it and roll it and go from there. These are not quite the ones I would do, though. Nothing less than bitter, if not the center of attention. That one's perfect. Bond. I would do anything for other members of my true. No, I will be famous, whatever it takes. Hell yes. Sharp tongue lands me in trouble, probably. Alright, equipment. Do we want class equipment? Do we want to choose different equipment, or do we want to just do starting wealth? We could give ourselves all kinds of stuff. Let's just go with gold for now. Alright, we've got that. 140 gold, we can just purchase whatever we want. Spells. Again, we'll just choose ones that make sense for, let's see, what is this? A kind of an offensive bard. Thunderwave is going to be his spell of choice because that's the most epic. Just playing the guitar and knocking everybody backwards. And then maybe some supportive spells here. Charm Person definitely makes sense. And Hideous Laughter? No, he wouldn't want people to laugh at him. Dissonant Whispers. There we go. It's like playing some Pink Floyd or something. Alright. And then we've got... Wait, what is this? Oh, Feats. We don't have any... We're not humans. We don't have Feats to start off with. And then this one just tells you, alright, did you skip anything? Did you forget any of the drop-down boxes? We did not. So we apply our changes and it actually builds our character sheets one by one, which is pretty nifty. So as you can see really quickly, I just went through and had a lot of like rollable tables I used, drop-down boxes. I didn't have to fill out any information. I was basically just rolling, you know, digital dice to come up with all my stats. So everything was plugged in really pretty quickly. And I'm literally just stalling as this applies the changes. Boom! Okay, here is Mozark, the mighty half-orc rock star. And this is the standard D&D official 5th edition character sheet for Roll20. And it is meant to look like the actual 5th edition character sheet. Everything hyperlinks correctly on here, so if I want to... oh crap, I don't have any weapons though, do I? Ha! Oh, let's see, I've got... Let's see, can I think... Oh, those are my proficiencies. Okay. Well, this is a good example. So it starts me off... my spells are located here, and then actually first thing I want to do is never roll advantage. Let's turn that on first. Okay, so for my core, everything is plugged in correctly. I've got my hit dice, I've got my 10 current hit points because it's the max hit die plus your con bonus. I don't have a weapon yet to show, so what we can do is we go to our compendium, which is the little eye symbol up here. We go to items. Unfortunately, this is going to be all the fucking items right here. So, let's say I want to start off with a battle axe. Are bards proficient in battle axes? I actually don't know. Hand crossbow, longsword, rapier, short sword, and simple weapon. What is a simple weapon? Oh, it doesn't say. Simple weapons. I don't know what a simple weapon is. Okay. I'm guessing a battle axe is not a simple weapon then. Doesn't say on here either. Well, it says... Let's just go with a short sword then. Let's do a short sword. Whoops, I just exited out of my character sheet. Come back, Mozark. Alright, so let's add a short sword. Even though this character would definitely be using an axe, but a level 1 bard might not be able to actually use an axe legitimately. So unfortunately all my cool character ideas have to do with multi-classing, which means level 1 can be a little painful with trying to make it work for the moment. Good lord, there's a lot of items. Alright, well, this is a better way of doing it. Let's just go short sword. No results found. Crap. Short. Okay, short sword is one word. My bad. Alright, that's the proficiency, though. The item, right there. So, we found the item. Make sure it's under the actual items thing. And then we're just going to take it and drag it, and you can see there it says accepting drops from compendium. We'll drop this in there, and boom, it adds that weapon in your inventory, as well as already creates a instant linkable macro to be able to attack with that weapon, which is really cool. So now, and it automatically plugs in my proficiency bonus because I'm proficient in short swords, as well as my strength modifier, which holy shit is a 4. Damn, did I actually put that 17 on my strength? I guess I did. Holy crap, that's a strong dude. He's a strong fucking bard. So I click that, and I get my roll right here. So I rolled a 9, but with my plus 6, it's a 15. And if that hits, then I can click on this to do the damage roll, which is a 1d6 plus my strength modifier. Rolled a 4, I do 8 damage. This guy might as well be like a fighter or barbarian. That was pretty solid. So that's really cool. You can automatically add your attacks just by dragging whatever weapon you need into here. And let's say I had a short sword plus 1. You can see it automatically gives me that plus 1. This one now has a plus 7 to attack, as well as a plus 1 to the damage. And does the same thing with any offensive spells. It will add those to this little sheet here, and you can go in here and modify whatever you need to. Econ, so that should be set up. Let's cast Thunderwave and see what it looks like at level 1. Right there, it says DC 13 saves. The DM knows what they have to roll to save against your spell, and I rolled from a 2d8 10 damage, which is pretty decent. Thunderwave, self 15-foot cube. So that's the entire character is just modeled around casting Thunderwave all the time, and then eventually just raging into a just pure rockstar mode. Now, for spells, you can go, and this is kind of more just character sheet stuff, but if you want to actually look at the whole spell, so let's say you want to, let's see here, include spell description and attack, you can select on for that, because right now if you just click this, it just basically posts the spell card and then gives you the attack here, whereas if you notice when I did the attack earlier, it didn't have all this information. Now, I believe when I do it, yeah, so now I did select, and I would do this for all the players for sure, that way we just have all the information so you don't just see the numbers, unless you get maybe very familiar with the spell, but even so, you might as well just have that. It's not going to clutter things too much. But spells work the same way as the items, so let's say I want to add a new spell when I level up. And I need to filter by bard spells. Okay, and bard spells are very like supportive in nature in 5th edition. They did away with the bard feeling like a fighter mage and made him more of a like a crowd control / cleric light, and still he's a bit of a fighter thief thing. But let's say I want to add, what do I not have? Cure wounds. Same thing. Just drag it, drop it, pop lock it, boom. There's cure wounds. I can click on that, and it instantly works as a thing. If I want my spell card, I'll have to select that. Kind of wish this was on by default. On, because give me that information. There we go. And of course, it's going to roll as well. So, very cool. It also works for feats. So you've got items, you've got spells, and at level 4, if you're playing that kind of game that allows it, you can add a feat into your sheet as well. So let's say at level 4 I would take the actor feat. I can just drag that, drop it, and boom, there it is. Actor! Now I don't know if that automatically actually applies actor. I don't think it does. Increase your charisma score by 1. Advantage. Oh, this you can't do advantage. Alright, so I don't think it increased my charisma, so I would have to go in there and actually modify that directly. But it does add all this information here, so you're not having to just go and, like, you know, copy and paste from, you know, whatever wiki or website or whatever to fill in all this information. Now, if you wanted a multi-class, it's a little more of a roundabout, because obviously first thing I did is like, oh, I want to multi-class to my barbarian at level 2. It does automatically do the hit die, which is cool. And it will actually even ask you, do you want to use your bard or your barbarian hit die, which is awesome, because that's something you have to keep track of. What it doesn't do, however, is you can see here it did not automatically add my barbarian abilities. So the workaround I found is that you can just search for those abilities. So for example, you know that a barbarian at level 1 gets the rage ability, so you can drag that into here, and then it adds this actually added rage and unarmored defense, which is both the barbarian level 1 abilities as well as the rage damage modifier when I go into a rage, which level 1 is a 2. So it still works, you just have to know. So like if I take fighter as a level, I would get what do you get? What is it called? Action surge, or no, it's called second. Okay, it is on there. I think it's actually called second wind, or is it? Maybe it's called action surge then. No, oh, second wind's a different thing. That's right. Which one does they get first? Second wind he gets at level 1. So that's right. It's like a self heal. Second wind. Alright, so let's say I take fighter. I can drag the second wind onto here, and then that will add second wind. Now, I did notice, as you can see here, unfortunately, it is replacing my resource with this one here. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's just kind of how it works for multi-classing. Obviously, you want to have multiple resources, which I don't think it's a big deal. Just fill this out and do it from there, because I think it's something you have to manually keep track of anyway. If I click second wind, it's not going to actually take this one away. It's something you have to keep track of, which, you know, hey, at some point you are going to have to get in there with a digital pencil and actually modify your sheet for like hit points and resource that you're actually expending, so I don't have a problem with that. But just be aware that you will have to know a little bit of information on your own in terms of which things to actually drag to your character sheet. But the fact that you can just drag and drop all that stuff real quickly is minimizing the amount of work you're actually having to physically type in, or, you know, Control-C, Control-V, all that information, which is really, really nice to have. So obviously I'm a huge fan of this Charactermancer, 100% recommend it. It is a tool that I believe just comes with Roll20 now, which is really nice to have for creating new characters. And if for whatever reason you want to just start over, you can actually just launch it from this little edit screen. Launch level 1 Charactermancer. Cannot be undone, which I think you can cancel and go back though, so I don't know how big of a deal it is. But it's really, really nice to have. It is compatible, I believe, only with the official D&D UGL character sheet right here. And yeah, being able to drag and drop stuff is just really nice, and I will be definitely using these sheets for our next campaign, and loving all these new improvements and additions to Roll20, and big fan of having the Player's Handbook officially on here, especially for a fairly reduced price, which is good, because I think the need for it is kind of limited, because I think a lot of people already have the Player's Handbook, and that information is more well known, and it's not as necessary as having all the, you know, maps and tokens and that kind of stuff. But for these purposes, if you're playing a lot of games on Roll20, man, it's really, really nice to be able to have all the information right here digitally. So that is the Charactermancer and the Player's Handbook. Thank you.